The views and opinions of the hosts and resource persons do not represent those of the organization, the university, and its stakeholders. Viewer discretion is advised.
Nang nag-reacts na sa Zoom.
Kaya nga, raise your hand pa. O, sige, Mr. EJ.
Mr. EJ, go.
Sorry, nakakapagod mag-react in real life. So, sa Zoom na lang ako nag-react. So, sa mga listeners natin dyan, share ko lang sa inyo, yung mga nireact ko is basically yung Santa Claus emoji, yung cool na emoji, yung skull na emoji, tsaka nag-raise na ako ng hand. Yun lang. Para at least, ano din sila. Aware sila sa mga nangyayari.
Tama.
Good evening everyone, or good morning, or good afternoon, depending sa kung nasan kayo ngayon. Sige, good day na lang pa, mas general. And welcome back to another episode of the Inner Nook podcast. So, just like the previous episode, today's episode is also in collaboration with the term-long activity of the Corporate Relations Committee called Tech Careers, where we implement events and share informative materials to kickstart students' careers. So, kung hindi nyo pa napapanood yung previous episode, you can listen to it through the LSCS YouTube channel or through the LSCS Spotify playlist, where you could also find other interesting topics na baka gusto nyo din pakinggan. So, ayun, for this episode, we will be talking about an interesting topic, lalo na para sa mga CCS students na nagpaplano to take their career journey to a different country. So, ano nga bang opportunities yung nag-iintay sa atin abroad? May challenges ba na may encounter kapag naghanap tayo ng job abroad, tas bago pa lang tayo sa corporate world? And paano ba yung work environment doon? Different ba siya sa Philippines? So, ayun, we will be discussing more on that later. And before we do, gusto ko muna introduce sa sarili ko. Hello, I am Mika or Mikayla, your host for today's episode entitled Landing a Tech Job Abroad, and joined with me are some CCS alumni na currently on the other side of the world. So hello everyone. Kindly introduce yourselves by stating your name, ID number, course, location, and siguro yung month din kung kailan kayo nag-move or migrate. And curious lang ako, anong oras sa inyo ngayon? Gusto ko malaman yung time difference. So right now sa Philippines, it's 9:17 a.m. So ayun, let's start with Mr. EJ.
Hello, I'm EJ Caguiat, ID 115. Course ko before was BS Computer Science, specializing in network engineering. And yung time today sa amin is 9:17. So opposite lang ako kung ano yung time ng Philippines.
Saan ang iyong location right now?
Location is in New Jersey.
Okay. Next, si Mr. Rastine.
Hello. Hi. So, hi everyone. My name is Rastine Pinlac, ID 115. Took up a course in computer science, specializing in network engineering, same as EJ. Ano pa ba? Location. I currently am in Mountain House, California. So, North California ako. And then, ano pa ba? Anong oras na ngayon? It is 6:18 p.m. Ayan. Okay. Yun lang ba?
Okay, yun lang. Next, si Mr. Carl James Raymundo.
Hello, so ako si Carl James Raymundo and ID 115, and my course is BS Computer Science, and then currently living in LA, Los Angeles, Southern California, and then same time as Rastine. So.
May tanong ako, like na-consider nyo na ba na mag-meet up since pala pala kayong nasa States?
Well, kami ni EJ nag-meet na kami.
Yeah, share lang, nagpunta kaming Disneyland noong December ni Ras and saka ng Universal Studios. So yeah, we saw each other twice already in the US. Once in the East Coast, nag-celebrate na ako ng birthday. And then once nung Christmas season.
Ang goals naman nun, dati nasa DL lang kayo na yun, pa states na lang kayo.
Kaya nga no, EJ?
Blow up.
Si Carl, di ko pa nami-meet. Di nag-aaya.
Grabe, kakalipat ko lang dito. So, mag-1 year pala ako dito. June 26 ako dumating, 2021. So, bago-bago pa. Yeah.
Grabe.
Okay. So, thank you sa inyong mga pa-introduction. So, ayun, na-mention ko kanina lahat sila galing sa States and gusto ko lang sabihin sa lahat ng nakikinig right now na bihira lang tayo magkaroon ng gantong set ng speakers na pag-uusapan ang isang topic na related sa career. So, hindi ko na ito papatagalin pa. Let's start with the first question. So, for everyone, when did you realize or decide to move abroad? Like before graduating ba or after graduating? And ano din yung reason ba't kayo nag-move? Like, family decision ba siya or career-related? Ayun. Feel free to share yung thought process niyo nung time na yon. So, start tayo kay Rastine.
So sa akin, I moved here back in December 2019. Yeah, to December 2019. So right after, like 4 months, right after graduation. So during graduation talaga, like actually before graduating, naisip ko na talaga siya. Out of nowhere lang actually, very impulsive decision where, alam mo yun, sabi ko, since I kind of grew up in the States nung back when I was in elementary already. So sabi ko, pwede naman akong bumalik. So yun, yung thought process ko lang with this is medyo torn pa ako sa gusto ko mangyari with my career. And una, gusto ko sana mag-aral ulit or something like that. But then sabi ko, nung pumunta ako dito, I just really wanna experience yung different, setup, kumbaga. And my parents are here, so I really just wanna be with them, especially na tumatanda na sila. So I think another factor was that revolving around family also. And yeah, yun so far, yung journey or yung thought process ko when it comes to that, it's basically just me being a little bit impulsive about sa mga decision. Alam mo yan, yung minsan 'di ba, parang mapaisip ka, why not punta na lang kaya ako dito or something new kasi ever since high school nasa Philippines ako and I really did enjoy high school and college days. So yun, I think that's one thing.
Ang daling naman nung impulsive decision mo. Parang nag-duel siya.
Sorry. Parang, stays na lang ako. Gano'n.
Parang ang lapit lang.
Ginawa nga lang kapitbahay.
Okay. Si ano naman? Si Carl. Ano ang iyong...
Alright. So, for me, I was petitioned by my parents. So, my parents are both, they petitioned me to be here sa US and then it was granted 1 term before ako graduate. So, when I arrived here, I still have like 3 months left before graduation. So, that's what happened. And then after I graduate, I've been applying for jobs para makatulong sa aking parents. So, yun yung story ko.
So, before ka graduate, nandyan ka na?
Yeah, like 3 months remaining talaga. Like yung last term.
Ano kung face-to-face pala yung graduation?
You know. Actually, been thinking about that if kailangan umuwi. But if ever kailangan, okay lang. Yeah. Makakabalik naman.
Okay. Si ano naman? Si EJ.
So, realization ko to move abroad was siguro once I took up computer science. Kasi backstory lang, kwento lang ako, share lang ako konti. First choice ko talaga is to take up law in the Philippines. Pero hindi naman sa hindi pinayagan, but I got discouraged. And parang yung next option ko is go into tech, which is, fortunately, nakapasa ako sa Lasal as a computer science student. Tapos, with a little bit of, research and yung, like, the stars aligning na nandito yung parents ko and everyone is basically my foundation dito sa US. It was kind of a no-brainer. Well, you still have to make that sacrifice na, You're not gonna see your friends every day. You're not gonna work with the same set of people. But I think the yung realization ko there is like sayang naman yung opportunity na you go to the United States, you get exposed to different big technologies out there, and big technology companies out there. So ayun, I think it was like planned move, pero at the same time parang like a YOLO decision na yeah, let's take this opportunity. Sayang naman. So yeah, yun.
Okay. So, since na-mention na din ni EJ yung tungkol sa opportunities abroad, so, ayun, nakasettle na kayo sa States. Naging challenging ba na maghanap ng jobs or companies abroad? Like, ako curious ako, paano or saan kayo naghanap ng job openings? Like, may website ba or job expo, ganon? Si Carl James.
So for my experience, yeah, it was hard. I've asked other people then which websites to apply. I've applied to a lot of websites like LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Indeed. Lahat ng job posting na naghahanap ng software engineer related roles, ganyan. I tried it all. So sabi nila sa akin na apply lang ako na apply. So that's what I did. And for me, it's quite difficult na yun nga kasi yung yung experience, like for example for me, yung OJT ko is 3 months lang, but they require here like they are looking for 2 to 5 years of experience, even though like entry level. So if you saw post related sa LinkedIn na parang entry level and they're trying to find entry level positions, no, but it has 2 to 5 years of experience, so it was overwhelming talaga, but you still need to try to apply for it. So yun yung experience ko.
Okay. So, wait lang. Yung entry level, dapat 2 to 5 years? Nakakaloka naman. Okay. So, next naman si EJ. Ikaw ba? Na-challenge ka ba sa paghanap ng companies abroad?
Of course, kasi feel ko one major flaw na nangyayari sa job industry is a lot of companies look at the education first, like background education for anything else. And considering na nasa US kami, I think it played a huge factor na we graduated in the Philippines and not like in a tech school here in the United States. And especially we are in like the middle of a pandemic, so maraming layoffs na nangyayari, maraming budget cuts na nangyayari sa different companies. Kaya strict talaga ang selection process ng mga companies when it comes to selecting candidates for the openings that they have. So yeah, it was very difficult kasi yun nga, nung dumating ako dito, it was like the start. Yung start pa lang ng pandemic. So sobrang daming layoffs, and then like 7 months akong unemployed. Like to like a total of 600 companies and just got one offer letter. So it was extremely difficult. Yeah.
Grabe naman yung 7 months, parang 7 months ka din naghanap ng job, no?
Oh, basically. Basically 7 months akong nakatenga sa bahay. Like either naghahanap ng jobs or naglalaro or having an existential crisis. Sabi nga. Yeah.
Agree.
Diba?
Same feeling. Yeah, a lot of in-applyan mo tapos ganon.
Ay, ikaw pala.
Yeah, and
Gano'ng katagal ka bago nakahanap ng company? Ilang months ka nag-apply?
Same din kay EJ. Same experience. Medyo 6 to 7 months din. And then, yun nga, parang mapapa-question mo sarili mo. At for me, question sarili mo na parang, am I good enough? Ganyan. Yun. Parang, ano pa ba ang kailangan? Ganyan. Tapos yung resume. Yung resume mo. Resume kailangan pinapalitan. Ako parang every week ko pinapalitan talaga.
Ikaw, Rastine, kamusta naman ang iyong experience?
Nako. So, yung akin kasi, maaga-aga ako napunta dito. So, December 2019. Hindi muna ako agad naghanap ng trabaho kasi may inasikaso pa ako eh. For me to be able to start work, I had to have my driver's license. Diba? Ang dami pang kailangang ayusin, and another factor na tinake into consideration ko before applying was, settled na ba ako? Like, ready na ba akong, alam mo yun, nasa corporate industry, di ba? Maging slave ng corporate industry. And that's also another like biggest like life-changing moment. Oh, ganun na lang. Kasi when I came here, okay pa, wala pa masyadong pandemic. But then when it became 2020, ayun na, doon na nag-surge, nagkaroon na kami ng lockdown, and job postings were a little bit tough. And yun nga, sinabi nga nila, Carl, parang meron silang requirements. And for me, hindi ko pa na-realize nun na wala yan sa years of experience. Pero dati ang mindset ko nun parang, nako, 2 years experience, ini-ignore ko na agad. Or 5 years of experience, ini-ignore ko na agad. Doon ako sa wala silang nilalagay na years or medyo finifilter ko pa yung sarili ko nun. And yeah, for me, before I got into a tech industry, it took me 15 months. Before that, I got a job, siguro 5 months in the US. I got a job, pero different industry. So I actually took a manufacturing associate role here. So dito sa California, maraming let's just say maraming OFWs or other races na nasa manufacturing company. Kaya nga tinuloko ko to si EJ. Sabi ko, ala, maging OFW na ata ako. So, pero no ano to like no hate or anything. It's just like an inside joke for us. So parang ayun, and nagkaroon nga like what EJ said, medyo crisis, existential crisis, and more so parang nawalan ako ng faith sa sarili ko na parang okay, parang dati ang confident ko, kayang-kaya ko to, ganyan. Pero parang every rejection email, every job posting na nakikita ko na hindi ko kayang kasukan, parang nadidismaya ako, parang nawawalan ako ng confidence sa sarili ko. And yun, so kaya tinake up ko na lang yung other industry. Sabi ko, okay, try ko muna dito. I just really wanted something. I needed not just money, I needed to support my parents also, which, kasi hindi mo alam kung ano mangyayari that time in that pandemic. Baka ma-lay off yung mom mo, baka ma-lay off yung dad mo. You don't know what's gonna happen. And I think that was the most important thing that I was thinking of when I was trying to apply for a job. Kaya yun.
Grabe yun, parang required pala magkaroon ng existential crisis kapag nag ng job.
Oo, well, hindi lang.
Required talaga.
Requirement na siya actually.
Pero buti naman nag-end well para sa inyong lahat kahit na-challenge kayo ng ilang months looking for a job na related talaga sa course. So, dun sa potential companies na nahanap niyo, ina-assume ko na lang na kasama na dun yung company kung saan kayo employed ngayon. So, ano yung steps ng application process and paano kayo nag-prepare? Like, may particular stage ba ng application process na super kinabahan kayo? Or super pinaghandaan nyo? Kasi, syempre, baka ibang expectations pala abroad. So, yun. Share nyo naman kung ano yun. Start tayo kay EJ.
Yun. Sakto. Kasi, actually, kakalipat ko lang ng company. So, yeah. So, medyo fresh pa yung experience ko sa application process. And most of it, halos same lang na nangyari sa pandemic. Most of it, like, 1/3 of the time, pa-questionin mo na sarili mo na para magkaka-imposter syndrome ka na para sa akin ba talaga itong position na to? o kaya ko bang makapasa sa position na to? And I think sabihin natin nandiyan na yung regular process, like okay, mag-aaral ako mag-code, like studying coding, ganyan, studying the basic terminologies of kung ano yung gusto kong position. I think what's also important sa paghahanap ng trabaho is having a great support system along the way. Like it's not required, but I think it's a huge addition to like making sure na you get very calm in times that medyo tense ka kasi nga namang problema sa application process. Like for example, like kami ni Ras, whenever I'm applying to a company, like siya lagi yung parang virtually bumabatok sa akin na parang ano bang sinasabi mo, kaya mo naman yan ganyan. So parang nandiyan lang siya lagi na parang wag mo ang i-doubt sarili mo. And I think that's one advantage of like having that support system kasi it makes you push beyond what your reason is. Na parang gusto ko lang ng bagong trabaho. It pushes you kasi people believe in you. Kumbaga. Kaya, so, ayun, yung application process ko, ang dami ko na naman kunento, pero basically, ganun yung application process ko. Aral, um, existential crisis, and yun, nag-halo-halo lang yan.
Hindi ko binayaran si EJ. Baka sabihin niya, binayaran ko. Joke lang.
Konti lang. Hindi, konti lang.
Okay. Ikaw, Rastine, kamusta naman ang iyong application process?
Yung sa akin kasi, since yun nga, nag-start ako ng job into a manufacturing company, which was actually for COVID. We were making COVID test kits noon. Ano siya, normal, para sa akin, since it was my first job, nung nagkaroon ako internship, halos parang same lang. So you had to talk to someone, di ba? You apply, and then sa akin kasi, so how I got in, so this was my like last resort, kumbaga. I went into an agency. So talamak yung mga agencies dito sa US. There's for different industries. So there's for tech agencies, there are manufacturing agencies. Those are yun yung kinakailangan mong lapitan pag hirap ka na talagang makakuha ng trabaho. And that time it was really hard. So ang mangyayari, you apply through them, tapos sila ang magre-refer sa'yo dun sa company na yon. You fill up a few forms, you wait a couple days, and then ayun, so far they will find like a match for you. Sasabihin nila ito yung offer nila sa'yo, meron ng offer. And then of course there's a cut for them as well. So yun lang yung medyo downside about the agency. But still, I was on a down, on a downhill path, diba? So I was like, okay, sige, take na natin to. And then in terms naman dito sa current company ko, I believe it was kahit cheesy. I believe it was fate na kasi I was really drained na talaga sa trabaho ko, diba? Ayoko na. I wasn't really having fun. It wasn't my course. It wasn't something that I really wanted to do in the future. So, ayun. So, I was working night shift pala. Ito, kung hindi nyo alam. I was working night shift. And then, nasa car ako, and then nakita ko lang siya. So, usually, tip lang to find jobs. You just go through your mobile apps really easily. Sometimes may mga easy apply doon sa LinkedIn or Indeed. Sa akin, nahanap ko siya sa Indeed. And then, nag-apply lang ako through that app. And then, couple of days, makakuha ka ng reply. Usually, discovery calls for startups. Yung sa akin kasi startup yung napasukan ko. And usually, what they do, they're really hands-on with their discovery calls. So, you get discovery calls. And then, right after, marami pang calls. It's usually just different filtering calls for them to know that you really want the job. Hindi lang for the sake na magkaroon ka ng job. It's something more deeper than that. I think that's different with other companies, maybe for EJ, iba sa company niya, but that's how I experienced it. And yun, mas na-overwhelm ako at first, but I had like, parang siyang nagkaroon ako ng bright light na parang, wow, may nag-reply na sa akin. Finally, may nag-reply na sa akin. They were open about everything. So, ayun, doon nag-start para sa akin. And it wasn't easy. So, yun. I think job applications aren't easy talaga. Compared sa org applications. Joke lang.
Oo. Yun din yung na-expect ko. Okay, si Carl. Kamusta ang application process mo?
For me, application process, so I applied, yun nga, parang nabanggit na nila na you apply a lot to a lot of websites like LinkedIn, Glassdoor. So lahat ng sites na yun apply. And then for me, I think I sent around 400 to 500 ata, or nasa 500 to 600 na positions. So applied to for 500 to 600 positions. And then out of, sabihin na natin 600. Out of 600, nasa 20 lang ata yung nag-call back sa akin. So, mga notable na companies ng Google, GitHub, yung iba, mga companies na regarding sa healthcare, mga healthcare applications. So, ganun, yun yung mga bumalik sa akin. And then, what I didn't like about the experience is, there were companies na nandun ako sa, after nung initial interview ko, what they did is they say na I will get another interview next week, as in they're looking forward to giving me an interview next week. And then let's say it's a Friday, and then next week Monday of that week, they will reply that they have already found someone. So it was kind of downing for me because you expected that you will have another interview, like maybe a final interview, if I may call it a final interview. But what happened is they already found another person, another candidate. So it was quite sad. And then yeah, it's out of the 20, it's like maybe 15 of them did that. So which very hard. They find another they have find another candidate more than me, and then I expected another interview for them. So it was quite hard. And then for my current company, it was feeling ko destined, like Justin mentioned. Parang they give me an offer kagad after that. One day after I got the interview, they offered me the job. So feeling ko, ay, this one would value me. Kasi if they give you an offer kagad, it means that they value you. So, yun yung para sa akin na nung nakita ko sa kanila sa company ko today na they value me, na they give me an offer kagad. So, they were impressed. So, that's for me is the best company na papasokan mo na talaga. Yun yung feeling ko the one na talaga na company na papasok. So, yun yung Rappi.
Natuwa naman ako sa stories niyo. Parang gabi yung pinagdaanan pero worth the wait.
MMK.
Oo.
Diba?
Ang worth the wait.
Pwede na sa MK.
Gabi hundreds ng applications before mo mahanap yung the one. Nice.
Sana all.
Sana all talaga.
Okay. Tanong ako ng tanong sa application process. Hindi ko pa natanong. Saan company pala kayo ngayon? And bakit nyo napili yung company na yon? In case hindi nyo pa na-explain kanina. Ano ba? Dream company nyo ba siya? Or baka may certain aspect pala kayo nagustuhan? Or wala lang, trip nyo lang? Or baka maganda yung benefit? Ano ba yung inyong naging basis sa pagpili? Ikaw muna, Rastine.
Yung akin, like what I said, connecting to what I said earlier, nakita ko lang siya out of nowhere, like it's a software engineering position or software developer. And yung company kasi na to, so before everything else, yung ginawa nila sa akin, they sent me the thing that they do. So yung ano ba yung platform ba nila, binibenta ba nila, what's the mission or what's the vision of the company. So send nila sa lahat ng resources nila. And what inspired me the most is they were really promoting about, ewan ko kung aware sila dito ngayon, but citizen developers. So citizen developers are really getting popular nowadays, especially sa no-code industry, no-code, low-code industry, if I may say so. Yung mga citizen developers na to, they're aspiring tech people na gustong makapasok sa tech industry, but they weren't given a chance to study computer science, IT. They were just trying their best to struggle with their lives. So yun yung parang na-inspire ako kasi parang they really had a goal. And yung company ko pala ngayon is Agile Point. So Agile Point is like a BPM platform. It's basically for business process automation. So ayan, nagpapalakpak si EJ. But basically, Agile Point, low-code platform kami. So we really help out a lot of clients na, for example, healthcare or nasa bank or nasa other non-tech related companies who really want to automate the processes that they have. Because some of them, ang dami pa rin palang business ngayon na nag-Excel sheets lang or hindi pa marunong mag-Excel. Some of them are doing manual labor. So parang it was a great platform for us to really help out those who need it the most. So parang wala lang, na-inspire ako and I just really wanted that opportunity. So parang nag-click na agad sa akin na parang okay, I want this job. Doon, nag-effort na ako para makuha siya and it was a really good experience.
Okay. Si naman, si Carl. Ano ang iyong company and bakit yun yung napili mo? Kahit na-share mo na ng onti kanina.
So, current company ko is Serena and Lily. So, Serena and Lily is a home furniture company. So, for mga home furniture siya, magaganda yung mga designs niya and I can say hindi ko afford yung mga furnitures nila cause napakamahal. Yeah, but
Discount
I really enjoyed Actually, tinatry ko nga rin yung like employee discount if ever, pero mahal yung ano nila, pero yung maganda naman. So, I'm a test analyst in Surname Lily. So, for ang ginagawa ko is every time na merong bagong feature dun sa system, ganyan. So, I test it out. So, QA rules, may QA rule yung ginagawa ko. So, yun na yun.
Okay. Ikaw naman, EJ. Ano iyong company?
Okay. Medyo colorful yung past 2 years of my job experience dito sa United States. Kasi nakatatlong companies now actually in a span of 2 years. Bilis, no? So, bigyan ko lang ng context. Basically, the position that I'm in is also a QA engineer. So, usually testing / automation / talking to devs, like pushing backstories na, na mga ginawa ng devs na medyo pangit, ganyan. Hindi ko naman sinisisi yung mga devs, but, sometimes. Joke lang. Pero, yeah. Yun nga, like, kwento ko din kanina na kaka-resign ko lang actually kahapon. Kaka-resign ko lang sa isang startup sa New York City. Kasi, so basically that's a like insurtech company, so health insurance with tech. Hindi pa ako nag-start, so hindi ko pa alam kung ano yung ginagawa ko sa company, sa feature company ko, pero mag-start na ako sa Monday. I'm gonna be a QA engineer in Audible. So yun yung large, kaya ako napunta doon kasi I just see that, they're basically the largest audiobook company in the world. And having that impact na what people see, what people use in their cell phones, in the web, having you see na may nagagawa ka for them, I think that's a fulfilling role to be in.
Okay. Ito naman ang aking tanong. So, di ba nakapili na kayo ng company or napili na kayo ng company? Siyempre, ang naisip nyo, ano kayang gagawin ko sa first day? So, ayun yung tanong ko. Ano yung expectations nyo? And ano talaga yung nangyari sa first day or sa first week? In case mas malaman pala yung ganap ng first week. Kasi tingin ko, madaming students din ang nag-iisip nito. Like, ano ba talaga nangyayari sa first day? Like, bibigyan ka ba ng parang period para mag-adjust or hindi, trabaho ka kaagad. Ganon. Ina-assume ko na lang na hindi kayo naka-work from home. Pero sabihin nyo na lang kung naka-work from home kayo. And ayun din pala, nahirapan ba kayo mag-adjust sa bago nyong environment? Start tayo kay Carl.
For my first day, I'm on a work from home setup. So, yung mga yung mga computers, yung laptop ko, tsaka yung monitors, and basta yung mga peripherals. So, pinadala sa akin like 3 days before yung talagang actual na work ko. And then, the first day, my experience is puro meetings. So, I have like 5 meetings for the day. So, ano yun, it's like a welcoming process yun na papakilala ka sa lahat sa team, for example, QA team, and then the second one is yung back-end systems team, then susunod sa front-end systems team. So, lahat ng teams, parang lahat ng teams na may meetings, attendan mo yun kasi papakilala ka ganyan. So, it's like a welcome. And then, also, ayun, onboarding process. So, you have to learn at your own pace. So, that's my experience.
Ito si EJ. Alam ko magsisimula ka pa lang. Tama dun sa mga past mo na naging job. Kamusta naman ang experience mo kamusta yung expectations tsaka yung reality?
Okay naman.
Same
I think one notion na meron tayo as young adults na mag-start pa sa mga companies natin. I think, what do you call this? Parang yung expectations natin lagi, I have to make a good image agad in the first week. Gusto ko magtrabaho agad, gusto ko marami agad akong maalam, ganyan. But the first week is pretty much the chillest week that you have ever. And wala naman silang ina-expect sa'yo na dapat may magawa ka ng malaking feature na ganyan. So same lang kay Mr. Carl James, na onboarding stuff mo, kuha mo yung laptop mo, and then bibigyan ka ng onboarding tasks. Basically, yung mga ano lang yan, yung mga tax documents mo, kailangan mo gawin, emergency contacts, full name, last name, like verification with your IDs, and yeah, a little bit of onboarding, like what their product is and kung paano gamitin yung product na yan. But it's pretty much, very chill in the first week.
Ikaw naman, Rastine. How?
Okay, ako naman. Same din, usually. Ganun talaga yung parang napapansin kong pattern for most companies. They do onboarding stuff. So HR muna yung welcome sa'yo, and especially the manager. So papakalala ka sa team nila. So right now I'm under a professional services team. So yun, ang ginawa sa akin, pinakalala ko sa team. Puro meetings nga, similar to Carl, a lot of meetings. Since remote yung setup ko, fully remote yung work ko, I'm just at home. So, ayun. So, first few weeks, I guess, they gave me yung sa akin kasi may training program silang binigay sa akin since I'm counted as a citizen developer. So, basically, yun nga, parang start from scratch ka talaga. So, papaaralin ka nila with the platform. Yung platform namin kasi sa low code, no code platform. So, drag and drop workflow processes, a little bit of JavaScripting, ganyan, CSS, HTML, mga web development aspects nandun. So they just had me brush up with the whole platform kasi yun yung gagamitin ko to develop to our clients, yung mga other DPA systems na papagawa nila sa amin. So yeah, usually it's yung adjustment doon. Syempre, number one, remote siya. Full remote siya. So it was a mixed feeling, I guess. Kasi parang gusto ko, ang tagal mo na naka-lockdown tapos remote ka pa, di ba? Parang hindi ko alam, mababalik ka na or masaya ka ba. So, for me, ang ginawa ko lang adjustment on was I just had to really set up my environment to be able to work at the same time, not stress about other tasks. So, yeah, basically more on trainings lang talaga to adjust fully. Kasi I really appreciate how they give us the time para at your own pace. Hindi nila ako binigyan ng timeline, okay, kailangan by 2 weeks tapos ka na. Hindi. Like, take your time. Gusto namin, tapos ka, nakuha mo yung platform, nakuha mo yung role and responsibilities mo, saka ka namin ihasa or saka ka namin ilalagay. And government kasi yung partner clients namin, so I had to go through different background checks for me to be able to do some projects with their team. So yeah.
Hey there. Hate to interrupt like an ad, but before we continue, allow us to squeeze in some messages from our team. For more LSCS content, follow the Inner Nook podcast in YouTube and Spotify. You can view the links at the description of each episode. Make sure to stay tuned to our other projects too. We have UBits as well as the LSCS official newsletter, Bits and Bytes. Check out the LSCS Facebook page to find out more. That's fb.com/LaSalle Computer Society. And as a quick reminder, the views and opinions of the hosts and resource persons do not represent those of the organization, the university, and its stakeholders. Viewer discretion is therefore advised. Now back to the podcast.
Okay. So, na-mention nyo na yung mga position nyo. Tanong ko lang kung ano ba yung pinaka-ginagawa nyo? Ano yung task nyo doon sa position na yun? And so far, kamusta yung naging experience nyo? Like, individual ba kayo nag-work or may team ba kayo nakasama? Tapos, baka meron din kayong unforgettable events. Ayun. Since nag-join kayo, baka gusto nyong i-share. So, start tayo kay EJ. Yan.
Yeah, so yun nga, na-mention ko earlier na pareho kami ni Carla actually na QA. As a QA engineer, what I usually do is basically test stuff. We test the new features na lumalabas sa specific projects namin or applications where we're in. Usually it's, 50% testing, 50% communicating with the devs na like parang lagi mong ibabalik sa amin yung ticket na, hey, there's something wrong with the ticket, ganyan. So it usually just says na before actually putting out this product that we have in for the public's view, dapat masala namin or ma-filter namin lahat ng flaws, lahat ng bugs na makikita namin sa application. In terms of the work, same as every company out there na there's a big company and there are different applications, like for example my web, my mobile, may ganyan. And then basically may isang team ka doon with a few developers, probably a few QAs, and there's always that project manager or a product owner that oversees the entire application.
Yung katulad mo ng posisyon, si Carl, kamusta naman ang iyong experience?
Experience ko is similar to EJ. So what I do also is create test plans, test scripts, and then you always have to focus on the acceptance criteria, because when you test the feature, you have to make sure that it satisfies the acceptance criteria. So the things na natutunan natin sa software engineering class, parang i-apply natin. And then, yung mga tickets na, for example, nagkaroon ng problem, so i-block mo yun or i-report mo. And then, sa amin naman, on my end, what I do is, since it's a home furniture company siya, palagi akong nagte-test as parang user. So what I do is, I'm like a customer who orders furniture, and then I'll add the shipping address, I'll add the delivery address. So lahat yung mga kayang mapindot ng user o lahat ng possible gawin ng user, ganun. Yun yung ginagawa ko. So, yun yung mga aspects na kailangan pag-isipan na sa pagiging QA. So, that's what I can share about it.
Okay. Si Rastine.
Okay. So, yun. Ako, naiibang ko sa kanila. I started out as a application developer. So, since no code, low code nga yung platform ko, it mainly parang revolved around designing, a lot of designing process. So as a developer, besides having the requirements at hand, sometimes kasi there's different clients, there are different types of systems that you want to do. Sometimes hindi pare-parehas yung walang trend kumbaga na nangyayari. So some things na automate namin under the businesses, nagagawa namin as systems. So right now, as a developer, or was a developer, what I did was to ensure nga na we designed the whole application accordingly. Sometimes kasi there are what we call rewrites. So those rewrites are just existing applications from another platform that wants to be transferred to our platform. So sometimes yun naman, may requirements na, may system requirements na all you have to do is execute. Just do whatever you need to do. You have different sprint layouts. Sometimes people, depending on the client, iba-iba kasi yan sa companies. Sometimes they follow sprint rollouts. So yung amin, we follow a sprint rollout. So we do different daily sprints, weekly sprints, if I say so. Sometimes it's bi-weekly. It really just depends on the project manager. So more on designing processes, more on developing. Since it's low code, it's not that hard. Mainly scripting, since web, there's a lot of automation that happens when you use JavaScript. So ayun, that's what I was. So right now I'm currently a project manager. I think it was after a year. Yeah, after a year working. This is my a year and 2 months now in the company. So I became a project manager. So what I do is a lot different, a little bit, but so I count myself as a technical project manager since I did have a background as a software developer. So ano ba yung ginagawa namin as project managers? So we oversee the whole thing. So we're the ones face to face with the client. Besides our customer support management team. So before mapunta sa akin yung project, hinahandle muna siya ng customer support or sales management since yung product nga namin yung binibenta namin sa kanila. So ayun, once project has been closed, nasa akin na siya, and I start the whole process. Ano bang ginagawa? Like requirements gathering, ano bang kailangan ng company na to? Ano bang system yung kailangan yung gawin? Or if it's a rewrite, what are the knowledge transfers? We call it KPs, that needs to happen within both teams. So yun mainly yung ginagawa ko right now as project manager. But I'm more, since fresh pa lang as a project manager, I'm more focused on installation processes and mentoring programs yung ginagawa natin, which we do offer to other clients as well since it is the platform that we do. So yeah, yun yung akin. Di ako testing. Medyo hate namin mga QAs. Joke lang.
Boo! Boo! Pwede ba yun?
Ang daming
Pwede
sinasabi
ba
ng
sa
QAs
handbook
eh.
yun? Pwede ba sa handbook yun? Parang bawal yun ah.
Ano?
Okay. Nga, may divide pala sa inyo, no? Okay. So, ngayong alam na natin yung experiences nyo dun sa inyong job. Tanong ko naman, since na-mention nyo din kanina yung challenges when looking for a job, ano tingin nyo yung qualities or skill sets na kailangan nyo para makakuha ng job abroad and para tumagal sa isang company? Like, ano yung skills na kailangan or necessary para ma-increase yung chances of being hired? Start tayo kay Rastine.
Para sa akin, skills, yung pagiging BS org ko nung college actually paid off. Because, well, kind of. Okay, let me explain. Kasi, di ba nga nagkaroon ng pandemic, I barely had a chance to talk or got to know a lot of people or got a chance to gain a lot of friends here sa US. It was a bit hard. Parang napaisip ako, medyo introvert na ba ako? Parang hindi ko na ba kaya makipag-socialize sa ibang tao? And I believe a lot of people have that transition, especially na ang tagal nyo ang nasa bahay lang, ang tagal naka-lockdown. So, that was one thing. In terms of skill sets, I think being able to be just confident enough within yourself, believe in yourself. I think like in terms of speaking, you just have to be you know how to be professional. I think that's number one skill set that I think needs to be applied pag nasa industry ka na, because there are a lot of HRs or a lot of people who value yung mga maayos mag-reply or kahit simple replies lang sa email, 'di ba? In terms of how you communicate. And going through that communication, like dapat you know how to convey your message properly para hindi magkaroon ng misunderstanding between the company or between your employer, because I think that's another thing that I see, and you're noticing it's mainly like personal traits or skill sets yung binabanggit ko, kasi in terms of technical aspect, they have their own side there. They would know if you are qualified. They would see it in your resume. They would review your resume. Tatanungin ka nila. That's why there are technical interviews. There are various of coding exams that you have to do if you want to become a software engineer, for example, or QA in or engineer or software developer in test. So ayun. So parang in terms of other skill sets, I feel like you just have to brush up on your simple technical skill sets like coding. If you're very confident with one language, if you want to become a software engineer, maybe hasain mo pa sarili mo, practice some more. Like what EJ told me a lot when I was applying, it's just do a lot of leet code. Yan, si Mr. Leet Code yan, si EJ. Magaling yan. Saludo ako dyan. Okay. Pero yeah, other than that, I think mas tumitimbang pa rin communication and being a lot professional in the industry and know how to convey your messages talaga. I think that's one of the qualities that you really want to improve on in terms of getting a job. And of course, being patient.
Nung nag-reacts na sa Zoom.
Kaya nga, raise your hand pa. O, sige, Mr. EJ.
Mr. EJ, go.
Sorry, nakakapagod mag-react in real life. So, sa Zoom na lang ako nag-react. So, sa mga listeners natin dyan, share ko lang sa inyo, yung mga nireact ko is basically yung Santa Claus emoji, yung cool na emoji, yung skull na emoji, tsaka nag-raise lang ako ng hand. Yun lang. Para at least, ano din sila. Aware sila sa mga nangyayari.
Tama.
So, balik tayo sa topic. So, I think biggest factor na need ng isang tao to, succeed. Tama ba? To succeed in the application process is basically your way of delivering yourself. Na parang you can be the smartest guy in the world. Yeah, you can be like, the top 0.001% of the developers in the entire world. But if you deliver yourself in a wrong way, like you come out as arrogant or come out as something that you can't even converse with a human being, I think that would be a problem. Kasi the tech is there. Matututunan natin yan. We can read up, we can practice. But it's actually very important, lalo na sa tech industry, which I think maraming tao overlook, that it's very important for people to communicate, especially like passing out like their codes, or PM to devs, to QAs, to basically everyone in the tech industry. It's very important, like on how to project yourself, lalo na sa mga peers mo, kasi you don't want to be that guy na people will hate, di ba? So I think madali nang matutunan yung tech, but I think one of the more important skills na kailangan matutunan, which has been overlooked by a lot of developers, basically communicating with another person, like being a human being with talking to another person. Yeah.
Actually, totoo. Yun din yung usual na tip na mga gumagraduate and nag-work na. Na yung main na kailangan mo na skill is something na hindi mo usually matututunan within a classroom. Kundi matututunan mo pa sa org. Ayun.
Tama. Kaya join LSCS.
Itong former LSCS officer, si Carl. Anong iyong masasabi? Anong iyong...
Uy, former LSCS kami lahat.
talaga? Nabuto ko si Carl.
Oo. Late na ako.
Hindi ko maalala. Diba?
Pero, ayun, for me, na-share na rin nila, but I'll add something. Siguro, important skill is to be a lifelong learner or a continuous learner. Kasi, for example, parang when we graduate, parang masabi na natin, ay, confident na makakuha tayo kasi either ganito, natutunan ko na lahat na sa school, sa college, lahat ng mga courses na nakuha ko na, napasa ko na, graduate na ako, ganyan. So, yun yung kailangan tanggalin mo yun sa isipan mo. Kailangan, pag-graduate mo, parang kailangan continuous ka pa rin na nag-improve, continuous improvement, na kailangan pa improve sa mga bagay na nahirapan ka, gano'n. Kasi when I applied, ang ginawa ko nun, since I have like 3 months of experience lang, so I've highlighted yung mga projects. So I created a lot of projects, like personal projects, and then yung projects din sa school I added. And then the questions that they asked me is yung about mostly sa projects. As in, they don't care about experience, they don't care kung kailan ako graduate. What they needed is parang what did I do dun sa project. So ako naman, since I'm very involved with the project, so I can answer it with confidence, gano'n. But if, for example, naglagay ka ng projects doon, you added something sa resume mo, and then you're not that confident, and then when they ask you that question, the big question mark na, yun nga about that, wala kang masasagot, then there's a high chance na hindi ka tatanggapin kasi parang naglagay ka sa resume mo, and then hindi ka pala confident na masasagot mo pag may tinanong regarding it. So those are the things for me na very important na din. So yun na.
Okay. Next question tayo. So after nung inyong migration, job hunting, tas naging employee na kayo, ano yung naging impact ng working in a different country? Like, anong knowledge yung nakuha nyo? May bagong knowledge ba kayo nakuha? Nag-improve ba yung social skills? Paano naapektuhan ng paglipat nyo yung career nyo? So, start tayo kay Carl.
For my experience, di ako nahirapan na mag-communicate sa aking mga office mates. So, yung mga colleagues ko, they're from different parts of South America, and also I have also colleagues na like senior directors, ganyan. They are in different states in the US. So at first, nandun yung nahihiya ka na magsalita sa kanila like mahiya na mag-reach out sa kanila, but past over time ma-overcome siya. And then so far okay naman, like mababait sila lahat, like very helpful. So that's my experience with my colleagues.
Curious lang ako, meron ka bang coworker na Pinoy din?
Oh, for me, like I'm the only Filipino there. So lahat ng mga kasama colleagues ko, they're in South America and other states. So ako lang yung Pinoy doon.
Napasabak ka pala sa English yan dyan. Okay. Next, si EJ. Paano na-impact ng migration yung sarili?
I think one huge impact na nangyari na nag-migrate ako is talking in state English. Kasi, sa DLSC naman, we talk in English, pero medyo, like how we converse Taglish, ganun. Pero here, when you're in the United States, you talk in straight English because no one will understand you, except for the other, Filipinos out there. So, ayun, I think social skills-wise, super laki ng improvement kasi surprisingly, lahat ng mga tao na lumaki dito, like all races na lumaki sa US, they really like small talk. So every single morning, kapag maaga ako sa meeting, they're just gonna be like, "How's your day? How's your weekend?" Like that. So in terms of social skills, parang kaya ko na mag-start ng conversation with another person just by asking them how's their day, or like kahit nga weather, pag-usapan ng weather, like weather is really nice out here today, ganyan. Ang dami na mapag-usapan. Mapupunta na yun sa mga aso nila, the families and everything. So yeah, I think yung huge boost, kahit yung technical kasi it's there, you can learn it on your own, pero huge boost talaga in your social skills kasi you tend to talk a lot when you're in the United States.
Okay. Next, si Rastine.
Ako. Ano nga ba natutunan ko?
Valorant.
I guess. Besides that, joke lang. Siguro, well, kasi di ba nga, nagkaroon ako ng opportunity para magkaroon ng 2 jobs. So yung isa, yung previous job ko was in the manufacturing. Night shift yun. And coincidentally, halos parang 90% doon were Filipinos. So, ang daming mga Pinoy. So, ang dami ko ding nakita na namulat ako in terms of how they live here. And napaisip ako how my parents lived here before then. Parang naisip ko, ganito talaga. Kasi, short story lang, during in that time, sa industry na yun, they really, hourly kami. So, we get paid kung gaano katagal ka nandun. So, for example, yung shift ko nun was around 10 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. So, we had to, parang in terms of adjustment, parang nakita ko talaga ang dami talagang gusto magtrabaho lang. Especially yung mga Filipinos, they like working because of the money that they make kasi nga hourly. Doon sila nagkakaroon. So when there's an opportunity to really work overtime, ayan, nag-work sila overtime, they really grasp it. So yeah, I think namangha lang din ako. At the same time, there's the other side sa Pinoy characteristics natin or sa mga kababayan natin that are, alam niyo yung crab mentality, like they like bringing people down. So I have also witnessed the other side, the negative side of that. And it was really, it's kind of a bit shameful because they're not just doing it to our race. Hindi lang sa kapwa nila Pinoy. Ginagawa din nila sa ibang races. Like for example, we have, since we're in California, we have a lot of Mexicans, we have a lot of Vietnamese. A lot of cultures are here in California, or especially in the United States in general. So parang para sa akin, in terms of yun, parang number one na nakita ko was it was just very shameful na wow, dito pa rin nangyayari din yung mga ganong politics in a sense. So yeah, sa current job ko naman as in the tech industry, I was very thankful for my teammates. So a lot of nag-joke kami ni EJ, parang ang dami na tech giants ang dami talaga sa mga tech giant companies, Indians, mga kasama mo or white races. And with that, yung conversation ko with them, yung different learnings ko with them it varies eh. Ang isa lang sa nakita ko sa kanila was they're very patient with their people. Parang they're so patient that even if you make a mistake, hindi ka nila ipapahiya. Or like, even if you're so sorry about yourself, nahiyang-hiya ka na, parang hindi mo na mapakita yung sarili mo sa kanila. They set that aside. They value, they think about that as your learning process, and they don't hinder you from that. Hindi nila, they won't take that away from you. Yung moment na yon of learning. And failure is always an option for them. I feel like that's number one. And if you don't make mistakes, number one thing I learned from my boss was that if you don't make mistakes, how will you learn these kinds of things? How would you grow into something better? And I feel like yun yung number one skill or knowledge na lagi na nasa utak ko na even if someone makes mistakes, even if, like yun nga, since yung company nga namin, they value a lot of citizen developers. So, may story nga dyan na yung CEO kasi yung mismong kumukuha sa mga employees. They do the interviews, they do the discovery calls. They want to know their background. And mayroon akong coworker who just came from McDonald's. He was a fast food chain worker. And he was just, gusto niya computer, mahilig siya sa computer. So, he didn't know how to get in without having that diploma, without having that degree na you took IT or you took CS. And yun, in terms of that, I feel like in the tech industry, ang daming tao na pwedeng makapasok given that they just have that opportunity. You just give them the opportunity. And that goes to every other industries. Na once you have that opportunity, just grab that opportunity. And if others don't have that opportunity, give it to them. I think that's the other one. And I think, I don't know if PJ or Carl have this in other companies that they have, they push them to, hey, invite mo referrals, invite mo friends mo, invite mo yung mga ibang tao, tingin mo kaya or gusto ng trabaho. And I think one thing about that is, opportunities. They open a lot of opportunities for you. So even though ang hirap ng job applications, at the end of the day, it's all about just having that opportunity and grabbing that opportunity. It's in itself. So in terms of social skills, same with EJ, you have to adjust with your English. Siyempre, ang hirap mag-explain ng certain something or ng problem to your co-teammate if hindi mo ma-convey yung message ng maayos. Like, like a little bit of story lang. Parang nung nagkaroon ako ng bug sa app ko, hindi ko ma-explain ng maayos na maiintindihan. Kasi we have our own way of interpreting our words. Eh. And sometimes hindi siya language barrier, but in terms of how you express your message to them or express how your concerns and how you deliver that. Yun yung nakikita kong learning experience din talaga para mas mapabuti yung communication mo. Like what I said earlier, communication is key talaga in terms of getting a job or in terms of being able to sustain your job in general. And being able to be successful in your career. So yun. Dami kong sinabi, right? Pero yeah, yun lang naman. The end.
Okay. Tingin ko yung naging common ground nyo is you get to know people from different races. Tapos nakakatuwa din naman na good yung mga encounters nyo with them. Kahit magkakaiba kayo ng pinanggalingan. Nakakatuwa lang. And siguro yun, yung nag-improve yung pag-deliver nyo sa sarili nyo and ang thoughts nyo. Kasi iba din yung mga tao dyan. Hindi naman pwedeng mag-Tagalog ka. Hindi mo pwede mag-Tagalog. Kailangan galingan mo yung pag-English o maintindihan ka nila. So, ayun. Hi.
Correction lang. Pwede ka naman mag-Tagalog.
Talaga?
Hindi ka lang nila maintindihan.
Hindi ka lang nila
maintindihan.
maintindihan. Uy, nagawa ko yan. Sa boss ko. Tagalog ko siya. Kasi parang, iba na may mix up mo na yung dialects na meron kayo. Di ba? Minsan, kausap mo, tropa mo or friends mo, okay, Tagalog kayo. And then, biglang shift to, okay, English na ulit. Sabi ko, oh no. biglang mag-iiba na. And then, nakahalo-halo mo na.
Kayo ba, EJ tsaka Rastine, may coworkers kayo na Filipino?
Ako muna. Well, meron nung last company ko, which is yung startup sa New York City. Meron, but not in the same department, not in tech. So ayun. Like yung tatlo kong Filipino na kilala doon are in HR, I think, sa human resources team. So hindi kami lagi nag-uusap.
English pa din.
Yeah. Sa akin naman may
Medyo.
isa. Meron kami
Medyo.
nosebleed ba? Noseblood. Yeah. Ako naman, meron kaming isa. Pero sa Pilipinas lang siya nag-work. Kasi usually yung setup namin, meron kami sa ASEAN countries or APAC countries na doon lang sila. Like, since work from, or like remote talaga yung job namin dito sa startup. Parang, yun, nakilala ko siya. He works with a database, mainly sa storage systems namin. So, he's a tech guy. Pero, yeah, isa lang. And then, bihira ko lang makausap.
Okay. Dahil lang yan na practice na naman na kayo sa DLSU. Mag-English. Okay, ayan. Malapit na tayo matapos. Okay, so second to the last question na to. May tips ba kayo para sa students who are planning to work abroad? Pwede na din kayo mag-suggest ng companies dito sa part na to or countries na pwede nilang i-consider in case na nagpa-plan sila mag-move. Start tayo kay EJ.
Yeah, I think first is make sure to have a network na super solid. Like, hindi naman sa pagiging makapal na mukha, but you have to expose yourself out there kasi you never know which person would give you the job. You never know ano pala yun, fellow Lasal, pala like what happened to mine. Backstory, yung previous boss ko sa first company ko was also Lasallian, also graduated in DLSU, also a CSNE student. So, alam mo yun, everything just clicks. So, very important to solidify your network and do a lot of research because you can't just go like you're in the Philippines. You can't just go and apply to some US companies without researching if they sponsor for a work visa or if they're willing to get you from the Philippines to the United States. So yeah, network and just a lot of research.
Si Rastine. Ano yung tips?
Yung tips siguro, yeah, I think I agree with EJ. Like, research about the sponsorships dito sa US, or if you already have a citizenship or a green card, I think number one is to also research about the company and know what you want to start off. So, yun yung mahirap starting. Ano ba ang gusto mo? Like, especially in the tech, ang daming branches na pwede mong pasukan. But you have to know where exactly you want to start. And siguro, recommendation, like if you want to have an entry level of software engineering kasi software engineers learn everything na. Like from, if you're full stack or that's where you start and then maybe end goal mo, ano maging end goal mo? You want to become a product owner, you want to become a project manager, or you want to branch out to QA, to BA, anything. I think it's just preparation talaga. So you have to know if you are a citizen or a green card holder, you have to know the background of the company that you want to be in and just keep applying, honestly. Don't be picky about the jobs that you choose. Just apply and apply because at least yun yung stepping stone mo kumbaga. To be successful in that industry is to start in that industry. So, yeah. I think that's one tip I can do.
Si Carl.
I agree with both of them. That's very important. For me, medyo papalayo lang ako konti. Medyo on the social side. Like, for example, meron ka ng mga companies na parang sa tingin mo, ma-accept ka, ganun. So, for me, kailangan confident. So, kailangan confident ka na kakayanin mo. Kailangan lumaban ka. Remember na the moment na lumipat ka na from the Philippines, let's say from the Philippines, papunta dito, it's like you're gonna start from scratch. As in from starting level. So, talagang wala kang kilala, wala kang ano. So, for me, yun nga, confidence, kailangan lakas mo loob mo talaga na kakayanin mo. Kailangan may fighting spirit, diba? Fighting spirit talaga kailangan. And then, sa akin nakatulong din dito yung meron kasi kaming Filipino community dito sa area namin. So nakatulong sila na parang syempre here feel mo homesick. You're gonna feel homesick. So if I can say with Rastine and EJ on behalf of them na parang homesick ka din. So for me, hindi ko na na-experience homesick kasi dito sa Filipino community here sa LA, parang naramdaman ko na parang nasa Pilipinas ako. So hindi nawala yung takot ko na parang ay paano na yan, mas maganda pa sa Pilipinas, and then lahat ng friends ko ganyan, tapos siguro doon na lang din ako ganyan. So parang yun yung masasabi ko siguro na tips na on the social side. And syempre important din yun sa technical side. So i-combine natin yun yung very important na masasabi.
Actually, sorry to add lang, nakalimutan ko sabihin, don't be afraid also dun sa mga years of experience na yan. Like, huwag kayo matakot, applyan. Like, 5 years, 10 years experience, applyan nyo lang ng applyan because usually it's just, no one's, if you look at the criteria sa requirements, no one's gonna be that perfect employee. No one's gonna be that perfect na, 10 years experience, master's degree, magaling sa ganito, magaling sa ganyan. No, like, they're only putting it out there if you see yourself matching in those characteristics, just go for it. Even na kahit wala, try mo lang, malay mo match ka pala. Diba? Yun lang naman.
And siguro one more addition to that is feel ko as the minority dito sa United States, we tend to undervalue ourselves compared to the other people na lumaki dito. So I think one more tip that, people that aspire to move to the United States can have is basically don't undervalue yourself in any way. Don't say that you're inferior with another person, with another race, because we're at the end of the day we all have the same goal to make money and be successful in life and be financially free or financially stable. So never ever undervalue yourself. Sabi nga nila, it's better to have a job that overvalues you in the Philippines compared to a job that undervalues you in the United States. It's a sacrifice of your quality of life. It's a sacrifice of what things you can buy or what things you need to buy. So just never ever undervalue yourself.
Ganda naman ng tips na binigay niyo. Hindi ko na-expect yun. Okay. Ito, pahabol question ko lang talaga to. In your opinion, mas maganda ba ang opportunities abroad compared sa opportunities sa Philippines? Well, tingin ko, ang tanging corporate experience nyo lang naman dito sa Philippines is nung nag-internship kayo before kayo graduate. Tapos, ayun, tingin nyo saan mas maganda opportunities? Lalo na kung ang pinag-uusapan is career growth. Start tayo kay EJ.
Mahirap sagutin yun kasi it's in a personal level na like how much are you willing to grow? Like it doesn't if you're super willing to grow, if your dreams are over the moon, I think it doesn't matter where you're in because at the end of the day ma-achieve mo yung goal na yun. Siguro fortunately sa United States there are a few companies na well established na. Yeah, there are a lot of choices. But the answer to that is really subjective. Like, do you want to grow? That's the first thing. Do you want to grow? If you want to grow, do you value the Philippines more than any other country? If you want to grow in the Philippines, you can make it happen. You can make it happen in the Philippines. You can make it happen in the United States or in Europe or wherever. Siguro hindi sa Antarctica because there's no tech jobs there. But anywhere in the world, as long as you have the drive to do it, you can have that opportunity.
Next naman, si Carl. Ano masasabi mo?
Para sa akin, for me, medyo masabi ko dito talaga, mas better for me. Like, my point here is, kaya mas pinili ko na dito yung mas magandang opportunities kasi I talk to sa mga kaibigan ko, nakausap ko sila, like, how was their situation there sa Philippines, like, how was their workload, and nasasabi nila na undervalued sila, underappreciated. So like, yung work nila, parang kinakailangan pa nila mag-overtime without pay. So, naawa ako sa kanila in a way kasi hindi dapat ganun eh. Like, every time we work, parang we always do our best eh. And then, we should be paid or we should be valued by our work. So if the company talaga appreciates what we do, so as much as we give 100% of our efforts na to do our best, no, we should be able to like be valued. So parang ang value talaga dito is dapat yung tao din. So the company should also value their people din. So dito sa US, yeah, since it's hourly, so kada hour your performance, ganyan, performance based too. So I think dito for me.
Okay. Si ano naman, si Rastine.
Okay. Nako, hirap din na tanong na to eh. Actually, madami like, in terms sa mga friends ko, they sometimes ask nga, bakit ko pinili sa US? Is it because of the money? Is it because mas mataas? I always tell them, hindi pwede i-compare yung salary ko sa ibang salary ng iba, for example, sa Philippines. Because we live in a different country, we have different laws, we have different tax levels, diba? We have different computations. And para sa akin, living in the United States still has its downs because, you know, even though you do get paid more, kahit i-convert mo yan into peso or i-convert mo yan sa kahit anumang currency, you still have to pay your taxes. You still have to, you know, pay your responsibilities. You know, diba, as an adult, marami tayong responsibilities and those things still need to take into account eh. So, para sa akin, if you want to work in the US, you go for it. If you want to work sa Philippines, go for it. Kasi, nasa sa'yo yun eh. Sabi nga ni EJ, if you value growth, if you want to grow, you can grow wherever you want to. Diba? Kahit saan yan. Kahit sa US ka man, pumunta ka man sa Korea, sa Japan, sa saan mo mang dream country, you'll do it. It's the matter of will you do it. Diba? Gagawin mo ba talaga yung best mo? Gagawin mo ba lahat na makakaya mo in terms of getting that growth, quote unquote, na hinahanap mo? But in terms of, yun nga, para sa akin lang, I think it wouldn't matter at all where you at. As long as you value, number one, yourself, number two, you have a goal that you set in life, and then just don't be pressured about, you know, having that. Even for example, your friends are may mga ganyang aspects eh. Sometimes I've seen it a lot during my past company. Like there are some people that aren't happy about their friends, you know, reaching their goals, becoming higher than them, quote unquote. May mga ganong notions eh. I feel like that's one thing that you have to change also if you do want to achieve that growth. You have to be able to appreciate, diba, yung kung nasan ka. If you're currently at a startup, if you're currently being paid like this, there's a reason, diba? If you wanna get paid more, if you wanna be promoted, if you wanna become, you know, if you wanna join that big tech company, nasa sayo na yan. So it's the matter of how yung willpower mo to start, number one, and how determined are you and patient to go there.
Yeah, I think in addition to that, tama si Ref, it's disclaimer, you can make like yung friends mo, you can make them as a competition, but you should make them a competition as healthy as possible. Walang hilahan pa ba, walang sapawan, or walang, you know, going over, stepping over other people just to get to your goals. Because at the end of the day, kayo din naman yung maghihilahan sa taas. Like, you want to see yourself and you want to see your friends be at the top. Kasi, like, for example, once you're at the top and your friends are nasa baba, like, how would you enjoy that? Diba? So it's healthy competition is good. Just make sure that at the end of the day, sabay-sabay kayong aangat.
I like to add also dun sa nabanggit nila. So, yung dun sa kung sa Philippines tapos employed ka doon tapos binavalue ka ng company niyon, then then continue. So, wala namang problema kung ganyan. Sabi nga nila na kung sa Philippines ka man i-pursue, continue growth, wala nang problema yun. Or dito, ganyan. So, kaya ko lang naman sabi na dito kasi parang, well, dun sa company ko and dun sa company ko experience na maganda naman. So, make sure na yung company mo na pasukan mo would value you value your work. Yun yung mga importante talaga doon. So if yun nga, at saka yung mag-grow ka like they mentioned a while ago. So yun lang yung masabi ko.
Yun ang ating natutunan. Don't settle for less, no? Dapat
Tama.
Yan, sige. Noted. Okay, yun lang ang aking questions dito. So I guess that concludes this episode of the Inner Nook. So basically, we got to hear about your experiences ng CCS graduates na ngayon nag-work na in the corporate world abroad. And nalaman din natin yung takeaways nila after yung madugong encounters nila bago makahanap ng trabaho abroad. So sa ating guests, EJ, Rastine, and Carl, thank you so much for joining us tonight and for taking the time to be on this podcast to share your knowledge about the topic that most of us are really curious about. So hopefully may
Salamat.
kayo sa future LSCS events. Tas sa lahat naman na nagpa-plan or nagbabalak na maghanap ng opportunities abroad, good luck sa inyo and we hope na this episode helped you in preparing for your future careers. Sa ating listeners, thank you for listening to the Inner Nook podcast and stay tuned for the next one. So ayun, have a great day or great evening sa lahat. Yun, goodbye!
Bye, guys.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Thank you, LSCS.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
The views and opinions of the hosts and resource persons do not represent those of the organization, the university, and its stakeholders. Viewer discretion is advised.